Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 7 minutes. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 4 minutes. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 3 minutes. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 2 minutes. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 60 seconds. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 30 seconds. Ask the Doctor with Michael Lange begins in 10 seconds.
When it comes to your health, are you seeing the check engine light come on more than normal? It's time to get under the hood. It's time for Ask the Doctor with Dr. Michael Lange. Sponsored by Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. Dr. Lange is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Lange of the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins, here each and every Saturday morning live to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic. Also in the studio with me is my co-host and partner in crime. That's Dr. Richard Hall, a.k.a. Doc Hall. Good morning, Dr. Hall.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be with you this morning. And thanks for all of our listeners for tuning in. We're glad you're here. Beautiful morning in Central Florida. And we have a huge, big agenda today. Dr. Lange and I are going to be all over Central Florida today, or the Tampa area anyway. And we'll get to that in a little bit and tell you all the updates on that. But it's a good morning. If you're going to make changes in your life, today's that day.
Amen, brother. And once again, this is a live call-in show. You got two doctors for the price of one. Remember, this is for educational purposes only and never replaces a comprehensive eye evaluation or medical evaluation. Now my attorneys are happy, right? For the second hour, you can tune in, especially if you're in the Tampa Bay area. For the second hour, you can tune in on Faith Talk. That's 570 AM, 910 AM, 100.3 FM, and 102.1 FM. And certainly our stations up in the Panhandle, the Florida Man Network up in the Panhandle. We're going to be on that also for the second hour. But once again, phone lines are open. If you got a question, give us a call. We're broadcasting through the Sky 97.3 FM studio network, all from Gainesville, Lake City, almost to Tallahassee and Jacksonville, certainly through Ocala, the Villages, Brooksville, and then we hook up on News Talk 820, and that goes almost throughout the whole state of Florida, and 860 and 930, and a whole host of other stations. Anyway, give us a call, 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. I want to give you a new website that we have, a new website for those of you that have been taking our Fortify Fit or are interested in building muscle, losing fat, building strength. If you're older, a senior citizen, you want to help stop that sarcopenia, which is the wasting away of your muscles and strength. Our Fortify Fit, we tag it the ultimate muscle fuel. Well, I've created a website. I made it by myself, believe it or not. It's not that bad. I got my second calling, and it's basically theultimatemusclefuel.com. Theultimatemusclefuel.com. Check it out. Doc Hall wrote a section on there, frequency asked questions. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. We've polled some physicians and family members and parents and athletes and trainers and coaches questions about the Fortify Fit, and that's something we'll get to a little bit later. But check it out, theultimatemusclefuel.com. And certainly you can always go to the main website. That's drmichaellange.com. drmichaellange.com will shoot you out to just about every other site that we have, and you can connect to our fortify.com to buy your supplements. All right. I think we're going to announce a special event that we're sponsoring today, and Doc Hall is going to talk about that in just a minute. But let's go to the first call of the morning. Everybody knows who that probably is. Let's see. Bob, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, doctors. Pleasure to talk to you this morning. First off, I want to say thank you to both of you gentlemen for last week when I called in. I was in the midst of dealing with some lactic acid issues, and I want to thank you for your input. This week was far better. So again, thank you both.
Awesome.
This week, I have a question that may be a little bit off of the reservation here, but when I came out of cardiac rehab almost 10 years ago, I had the ring finger on my left hand was drawn up tight against the palm of my hand. Went to the doctor and I said, I've got a trigger finger here. And I opened up my hand and showed him. He says, son, you don't have a trigger finger. You got a lockdown. Well, went through the procedure and he regained that finger to its pretty much normal state. But now on my right hand, the middle finger on my right hand, the tendon is starting to draw down so that I cannot open up my fingers fully. Not that it's necessarily a hindrance right now, but if I had it once, chances are I'm thinking it's going to happen again. Now, when I started to show my right hand to folks in the medical industry, they suggested. Now I'm probably not going to get these letters right. DMO or MSO or something like that.
DMSO.
Yes, that's the stuff.
Okay.
Do you think, in your opinion, that a continued treatment of that tendon in my right hand would release the tension on that finger?
Let me ask you this: Does it click when you move it? It doesn't click, does it?
No,
okay.
It does not click.
So it's
and it draws in. I can make a fist without any encumbrance at all, but I cannot extend my fingers full open, and the cord, the tendon in the palm of my hand sticks out about a quarter inch.
Yeah,
so I got something working here.
You know, Bob, it doesn't sound like a trigger finger, all right, but it sounds like something. My dad used to treat this a lot. He was a rheumatologist. That's why I'm somewhat familiar with it. It's kind of a weird name, if I recall. It's something like Dupuytren's contracture, okay? And this is when the connective tissue, all right, under the skin in your palm actually gets very thick, and it can scar down, and then it pulls. These collagen fibrils will pull your finger down, okay? And it sounds like exactly, and it usually happens to your ring finger or your pinky finger. and it causes it to curl and contract into your palm of your hand. And these are collagen fibers that actually extend into your finger and pull it down. And so the treatments for this, usually, if this indeed is what it is, and it sounds like it, okay? I mean, the treatments are usually you can see your doctor and they do a steroid injection. They can even inject these enzymes that help break down these adhesions that are causing it. So injections are pretty simple. Surgery is obviously an option if everything else is tried and nothing succeeds. You know, you are already on a gobs of omega-3. You're an omega-3 expert. So omega-3 is very important for this condition. Believe it or not, there's some studies out there that talk about black currant seed oil and this condition. And that's in our Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy. So you may want to try black currant seed oil. Certainly astaxanthin has anti-inflammatory properties, things like curcumin and ginger, and believe it or not, boron, okay? Now, so those are some things I would take if you're not already taking it. Probably omega-3, black currant seed oil, astaxanthin, curcumin, ginger, and boron. Now, the boron is interesting because if I recall back to my photographic memory, let me think about this. The DMSO, all right, that people use, they used to mix the boron with the DMSO, and you'd have to research this a little bit more. But when you apply this DMSO to your hand where it is, and a little bit of boron in it, it tends to work a little bit better, is the research that I recall. Remember, I'm not an expert in this area, so a hand expert would be somebody that you would see. But I think it's worth a trying the DMSO, especially if the physician had recommended it. Now, remember, if you use DMSO, we used to use this, and Doc Hall can chime in a little bit, but, you know, a lot of bodybuilders used to use it for achy joints and things, and it makes you stink. I mean, you smell like garlic coming out of your mouth, all right, fairly quickly. And you also got to make sure that you clean the surface very well, because you don't want to have anything on your skin at all, any impurities or lotions, because DMSO will actually make it absorb right into your skin. So DMSO, you don't want to use high dosages for long periods of time. But I think, especially if you're under, doctor's supervision, you could try it and maybe Google boron and DMSO and make sure your hands are really clean. But you can buy that at a health food store. But it sounds like, and Google this, Dupuytren's. That's Dupuytrens. Dupuytren's or trans. And see if that's your symptoms, but it sounds just like that condition.
All right. My goodness. Everything from eyes to hand care. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Doctor,
All right.
It was good talking to you earlier in the week.
All right.
Both of you. Good week.
Bob, take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Yes.
And Doc Hall, I think Bob works with his hands a lot, okay? And, he's out there working in construction and working outside, and I'm sure using jackhammers and axes and hammers and stuff like that. And, people are going to be more prone to develop this condition where that finger starts to actually come in toward their palm of their hand. And, they can check it. If you can't put your palm of your hand flat on a surface,
right.
That's this condition. It's a contracture. And once again, I'm no expert in this, but I'm just, talking about what I know from the past. And my dad was kind of a hand expert for rheumatological hand disorders. This isn't truly arthritis. I mean, who knows if he doesn't have a form of arthritis as well? Oh, look at that. We have Peter coming in the other room showing that he has it as well. All right. And you probably worked with a lot of bodybuilders that used to use DMSO, huh?
Absolutely. For a lot of years, quite honestly, I mean, back in the 70s, 80s, and like that, DMSO was really like an underground type thing. It was not readily available. You couldn't walk into the local health food store or pharmacy or like that and just buy it off the shelf. And it's very, very strong. In fact, we used to do a little demonstration with that, and you take just like a Q-tip, just dip it into DMSO and just rub a line down somebody's foot, the bottom of their foot. And I will guarantee, as my partner in crime will say, within about 10 seconds, you're going to taste the most strongest garlic, green onion taste that you've ever had in your life in your mouth in about 10 seconds. That's how fast it goes through. And as Dr. Lange was saying to Bob earlier there about, make sure if you use DMSO to thoroughly cleanse the skin, because if you have anything on there, whether it be a muscle rub, a body lotion, even sweat, anything like that, any impurities on the skin, it's going to be taken into your body like real quick. And that's the delivery system of DMSO. In fact, they piggyback DMSO with a lot of other ingredients. That's the delivery, is the DMSO. But I've seen a lot of people use it over the years. And be honest with you, it's probably about a 50-50 on that of, success rate or relief rate or whatever you want to term it. But it's worth a try. It's worth a try. And Bob, I might add also maybe some massage in there, and in with some Epsom salts, and just put both hands in the water and massage one with the other, and do that on a regular basis. Though it's not going to be a one-time thing, and you're going to get relief or see a big difference. But I think consistency with that, and the other protocols that Dr. Lange was talking about, I think you're going to see a little success with that. And please keep us up to date, okay?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Epsom salt, hot bath, stretching and massaging it. Absolutely. A little physical therapy sometimes may help as well. All right, phone lines are open. 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. I see a lot of you chiming in on social media. You can watch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Periscope, YouTube. And if you want to find out more of those places to follow us, you can just go to drmichaellange.com, and it'll link you up to go to the social media section, and you can follow us on that if you want to watch us. You see, Doc Hall is quite snappy dresser today. He's in a suit, a vest, looking very stylish because he's the commissioner of the PCA Bodybuilding Association, and we're going to be sponsoring it. Fortified Performance Nutrition today is going to be in Ybor City as sponsoring this big national bodybuilding championship. We'll be there with our dispensing machine, giving you cold Fortify Fit, strawberry watermelon flavor, as well as the fruit punch. You can try it. It's free. Come on out. It's in Ybor City. It starts at noon. Doc Hall, where's it actually at?
Well, it's and I'm going to struggle with the name of this, but I was actually at this venue about 3 months ago. Beautiful, beautiful venue. It's actually considered part of a historic Ybor City, and it's just a gorgeous old building. Reminds you of a really luxurious theater type thing, rather than just a venue. It's not a convention center type thing, and I'll struggle with the name of this, so please, if I'm way off on this, don't yell at me. But it's at the Centro, Centro, and it's Astorano. I believe that's how you pronounce it, de Tampa, and that middle word is Asturano. And I have the street address too, is 1913 North Nebraska Avenue. And that's still in Tampa, but it's right on the edge of the Ybor City, and it's the Ybor City Historic District. And it's going to be a great show. Now, these are the last bodybuilding show of the year for the PCA. It's the United States Bodybuilding Championships. So this is not just a local thing. We have athletes coming in from all over the place. I've been on social media and texting and like that. We have folks coming all over the place. And so it's a big show. And it's going to be fun. There's men and women in the show. We have couples competition, which I brought back and reinstated after probably about 20 years of absence. And so it's a good show. So come on out. We're going to be there all day. We'll be at the booth and talking to you. And come on out. You can pick up your tickets there at the door. And come on in and see a great bodybuilding show. You can see us. There's going to be a lot of booth folks there and vendors and like that, and come out and see us. We're gonna be there till probably 5-6 o'clock today. It starts at 12 noon, which is kind of different for most bodybuilding shows. They start sometimes 8-9 o'clock in the morning to go to 8-9 o'clock at night. This one starts at noon, and we get you out at 5. That's it, because it's ran efficient. That's why I'm with the PCA. Very, very good group. Google them and join us and come out and see us.
Perfect. So I will not be at the Lange the Fortified Nutrition Center today. If you want to see me, come to the booth at the Bodybuilding Expo in Ybor City. All right, we got people loading up on the phones. Let's go to Ashley in Sebring. Ashley, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. How are you?
Fantastic.
So, I've heard a lot about fish oil and how it does help, if you consume certain amount, that it will help with dry eyes. So, just took my infant to the doctor the other day, and she has severe eczema. So, I'm wondering if that is the same thing, if it's safe to give her fish oil, will that help with her glands as far as her dry skin, or is that completely different?
Yeah. Is the eczema around her eyes?
No, it's all over her body though. It's
Okay.
on her cheeks, but not
Yeah.
her
And
eyes. She does have mucus in the morning, and they said maybe possible clogged tear ducts. So
I would say the safest thing is warm compress, okay, on the eyelids, and gently clean the eyelashes with a preparation like Oasis makes one called Hypochlor solution, something like that. A special lid preparation that can kill bacteria and viral buildup on the eyelashes. The hot compress can open up the glands that can be clogged. Oftentimes, these infants can have blocked a lot of these blocked glands. And so, as far as omega goes, it would be hard to give your infant omega, obviously, in a gel cap. You'd have to squeeze it in the formula. All right. And many formulas out there, depending on the age, do have omega-3 in it. And omega-3 is critical for the neurological development of your baby. So I think it's a fine idea. You know, my wife was on our Fortify Super Omega when we were pregnant with Mackenzie, and not that my other kids are stupid, but Mackenzie has a really high IQ. So omega-3 is very good for anybody at any age. Now, you don't want to do a super high dosage. So if you're going to use something like Fortify Super Omega and you're going to put it in a formula or put it in her food, I would just squeeze probably, a quarter of it into the food, not the whole thing. And then you could take the rest yourself. But certainly this is a good idea to talk to your pediatrician about, all right, and see if they okay it. But I would do some hot compresses. Don't make it too hot, and clean the lids very well, because a lot of these kids will get a mucopurulent buildup on their eyelashes that's filled with bacteria and viruses and antigens and even mites and fungus. So keeping the lids clean will reduce the chance of this child getting any type of conjunctivitis or hordeolums or styes or other types of infections.
all right. Well, we definitely appreciate it. I will look into her formula and speak with her pediatrician about the omega. And truly appreciate it, Doc.
All right, Ashley. Thanks for the call. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
And Sebring, that's my old stomping grounds for racing cars. I was trying to race at Sebring about 3 weeks ago, and I have a blown transmission now. So, maybe I'll get back to Sebring soon. But the case-hardened gears for my transmission, the factory does not have a lot of workers, they say right now. Can you believe that? So maybe I got to get another race car. All right. Phone lines are open. We're getting ready to take the next call. 1-877-969-8600. We got to have some Sky listeners in Ocala that can give us a call, I'm sure. 1-877-969-8600. And some down in Sarasota listening on 930. Let's go to Robert in Port Richey. Robert, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Buy another car. I have another question on omega-3s. Does the rancidity of the fish oil affect its nutrients?
That's a great question. And yes, if the peroxide levels go up and the cyanidines, all of that, you don't want to put rancid fish oil in your body because it can cause just the opposite of what omega-3 does. Remember, omega-3 is an anti-inflammatory. It's an essential fatty acid that if we don't get it in our diet, we don't make it. Our body doesn't make it. Where omega-9 is not essential, and you get it through your diet, and your body can make it. And omega-6, we have way too much of it in our diet already. So we need to be taking more omega-3. But here's the gist of this story. Most omega-3 that you buy over the counter, Robert, is the ethyl ester molecule. That means it has ethanol attached to the backbone. This is a very unstable molecule, and it does go rancid and spoil very quickly. And it causes you to have gastric upset, burp back and things of this nature. So when you buy fish oil, you want to make sure it says triglyceride form on it, TG form. Triglyceride form is much more stable, much less likely to go rancid, all right? Now, If you get fish oil and it's shipped to you and it's been sitting out on your porch and it got really hot or it got hot in the UPS truck, then it can start to smell fishy. But the triglyceride form, that doesn't mean it's rancid, okay? It's just smelling a little fishy because what happened is one of those fish oils probably broke inside the container and it leaked out. So fish oil does smell fishy, right? Now it has a lemon flavor, our Fortify Super Omega and our Fortify Super Omega Max. So that doesn't mean it's spoiled. But remember, most that you buy over the counter goes rancid very quickly. So if you buy fish oil over the counter and it doesn't say triglyceride form, keep it in the refrigerator. Therefore, it's not going to go rancid quickly. And liquid fish oil has to be in the refrigerator because it will go rancid even quicker. So keep it in the refrigerator. Try the triglyceride form, and you should be fine.
Rancidity is indicated by the smell and the taste.
Not necessarily, because like I said, if it had heated up and if it's a brand new bottle and it heated up, it can smell fishy. But yes, rancidity can also mean that it tastes foul and that it smells bad. But that's difficult to say. Only a lab can really tell you whether it's truly rancid. They got to test certain values of the fish oil because the smell and the taste can be misleading. Most fish oil doesn't taste good to begin with, okay? But just stay away from ethyl ester fish oil and you probably won't have a problem. I mean, I have triglyceride form fish oil that I've had and it's 5 years old. I haven't opened it yet and I'm taking that and it isn't rancid. We test it in our labs to make sure it doesn't have rancidity. And our triglyceride molecule doesn't go rancid as long as it's in an air-conditioned environment for years and years and years.
However, the rancidity might be measured by the way it dissolves the foam in a cup.
Nope, that's the ethanol that's in it. So any ethyl ester molecule, when you squeeze it into a styrofoam cup, is going to rot a hole through it. That's going to have ethanol attached to the backbone, okay? That means it's an unstable molecule, but that doesn't mean it's rancid, no.
Another
so how
thing.
can we measure rancidity then?
A lab would have to measure, there's different values that we look at in a lab, and the lab would have to measure it to see if it's rancid. I hate to say that, but that's the way it would. Now, if it really smells super nasty, and if it's the ethyl ester molecule, I would throw it away.
Right. Now, on lectins, legumes and peanuts, must they be cooked in order to get rid of lectins?
I would stay away from peanuts. There's no reason to eat peanuts. They're high in a toxin called aflatoxin, so stay away from that. But nuts, things like cashews, if you soak them, it reduces lectins, but more importantly, it reduces the phytic acid. Beans have to be soaked, all right? Oats have to be soaked, all right?
Once they're cooked, is there any point in soaking them?
No, you soak them before you cook them. So soak them overnight in spring water and then actually pour it out halfway through the soaking and put new spring water in it. So if you soak it overnight, then you cook it, you're fine. If you buy things that are either fermented or sprouted, that's the ultimate. So if you buy seeds, buy the sprouted seeds. If you buy quinoa, buckwheat, buy the sprouted quinoa, buckwheat, because then you don't have to soak it overnight. So remember, soaking, fermenting, and sprouting reduces the anti-nutrients like lectins, phytic acid, oxalase, protease inhibitors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if you go on the Lange survival diet, it talks about this in detail, and I try to get rid of the foods that are causing these potential problems. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people that are vegetarians and vegans, they're eating a lot of these foods that can cause leaky gut and all sorts of health issues because they're not preparing it properly.
If they already come cooked, like in a can, is it too late to soak them?
No, it's okay because the can's been soaked in their juices already. But with the can, you got to make sure it's not a bisphenol laced can. So make sure it says BPA free, okay? Because
they put very few of them. Campbell's does.
That's right. That's right.
But you can't counteract that BFA by any preparation, can you?
Nope, you can't.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Just try not to consume it because BPA, these plasticizers, it accumulates in your system, and it's a toxin.
Got it. Thank you.
Dr. Lang.
Good.
Take care, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but I wanted to just make a point there. What Dr. Lang was saying about the ethyl ester molecule in there. When I do consultations, I have the person bring in all of their vitamins into the office, and so this week, of course, I had my full schedule, and I took three different folks when they came in, and I took their omegas that they brought in, and they were other brands. And as they're sitting there, I just snipped off the end of one, and I would put it into a styrofoam cup, put it off to the side, and not say anything. Continue on with the consultation. Then within 10 minutes, that styrofoam cup is starting to melt. And so, we're not big fans of having that in our body. Dr. Lang and I have been talking about that for years. But be careful with what you buy like that. A couple of factors there also with the rancidity on the omegas. Be careful of the storage of how you store the omegas and like that, and how if you can find out how they were stored before, and if it's a fresh batch. Also, check the best by date on there too. And now those are just indicators. That's not a foolproof method, but it will give you a good idea. Obviously, if it's out of date, for the few dollars that it cost, I wouldn't bother with it. I really wouldn't. I would just get some fresh. But then when you do get fresh, do like Dr. Lang said, store them away, put them in the refrigerator, and they'll last a lot longer for you.
Yep. All right. We're getting ready to take another call here in just a second. Phone lines are open 1-877-969-8600. 1-877-969-8600. You're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Michael P. Lang and Dr. Richard Hall, better known as Doc Hall. So give us a call. Before we take the next call, I want to just kind of diverge back to talking a little bit about Bob, the first caller, with his condition with his finger. A lot of you will have arthritis in your hands and will cause similar presentations. Well, the joints get extremely swollen and your fingers get kind of, curled up a little bit. So, a product that we developed called Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy. The lion's share of my patients are over 75 years of age. They have every eye problem known to man, have rheumatoid arthritis, all sorts of joint problems. These people, I developed Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy for dry eye, but they're getting amazing relief, rheumatoid arthritis and joint pain. I notice my knees are really bad because of all my motocross accidents. If I'm off of the Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy for about 5 days, the joint pain comes back. So Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy is a combination, a box that has a bottle of Fortify Super Omega, a bottle of Fortify Focus, and a bottle of black currant seed oil, GLA, in it. And it's discounted for like $60, $61, and you get free shipping. So check that out. It's great for your skin, great for your vascular system, great for your joints, but great for dry eye. It's called Fortify Advanced Dry Eye Therapy. Multiple uses. It's very good for all of us at any age. All right, let's go to the phones. We're getting loaded up. Let's go to David in California.
Oh, yeah. How are you, doctor? Yeah, I was interested when I heard you talking about, let me turn this down. I heard you talking about the DMSO, and someone told me a story about that, and see if it's true. They discovered it by, I think there was like a wildfire in a logging yard where they had a lot of pine trees, and the fire had gotten so hot that a lot of the pine oil had gotten pooled on the ground, and one of the workers had caught fire, and he burns all over his body, and he ran, and he tripped into one of these pools of hot oil, which basically had DMSO in it.
Wow.
And his burns didn't become third degree and whatnot, because apparently the hot oil or the DMSO, I don't know if you've ever heard that, if that's just apocryphal or
That's a good question. I mean, it very well may be true. Doc Hall's, not in his head. I know they use it industrial for solvents in the industry. And I know the only FDA approval, so we're talking about this off-label, the only FDA approval of a DMSO is actually a condition called interstitial cystitis. And it's supposed to be pretty good for that. But Doc, you want to chime in?
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that same story. I've never been able to verify it, but I've heard it on several different levels, and it was responders and firefighters and different things like that. But I've heard that same story over the years, and I think there's a little bit of truth to it, or maybe it's all lore. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to verify it, but I know
Okay.
exactly the story that you're talking about, and it comes in various forms depending on who's telling the story.
Right. Well, I've used it on some moles, and I found that it basically turns these moles into weird dust. You can just
Wow.
kind of wipe them away. And I don't know if you've ever heard the use like that. If it's, I try not to get it on the skin. Just use it on a Q-tip and
Right.
put it exactly on the mole, and they turn to dust like that. It's pretty strange.
Wow.
But yeah, the other thing I was going to raise. Out here in California, the COVID is bad in certain counties, and it's very much the vaccine rate in Marin County, for example. That's just north of San Francisco. They've reached 80%, so they're almost ready to reopen. I think they have to have. I was reading a news article, 15 people in the hospital with COVID, and they've reached 80 something percent. And I think there's a third. Oh, the third aspect of it is it won't be that the entire county just reopens like magic. If you're in a closed office building with only staff and everybody is vaccinated, you won't need to do the mask mandate. And so certain counties, I think San Francisco is getting very close to that. We're at about 78%.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and so I'm just, I keep hearing these right-wing shows talking about the tyranny of wearing a mask or the tyranny of getting a vaccine. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when they were trying to cause, people to wear seatbelts or get people to wear a helmet on a motorcycle.
Right.
And boy, those boys would cry like little babies, oh, I'm not going to wear a seatbelt. I'm not going to wear a helmet. And, but it saved a lot of people having to, smear their brains all over the highway.
Absolutely.
And so it's preposterous to imagine that anybody that is, just such a whiner that they can't even abide having a needle stick them for half a second. I had my vaccines back in February and March. My shoulder never even ached. No problems at all. The car keys won't stick to my head. All of these different folklore jokes. But it's amazing, that there are these radio networks that just spout these lies day after day after day. And it's as if I've wondered, the market forces angle of this, that the advertisers don't normally want to kill their customers, right? And if somebody advertises on one of these insane radio shows and the guy just keeps telling people not to wear a mask and not to get vaccinated, they're trying to kill their audience. They're trying to kill the customers of the advertisers. So I've gotten way beyond tolerating them. I'll shout them down any time.
All right, David. Hey, David, thanks in California. Thanks for the good news about the COVID there. Things are getting better. It looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel. We appreciate the call, but we're getting loaded up, my friend. We got to take some more calls, okay?
Yeah, stay safe.
All right, take care, David. All right, once again, you're listening to Ask the Doctors. If you got a question, give us a call, 1-877-969-8600, 1-877-969-8600. Let's go to Brenda in Gainesville. Brenda, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, this question is about flaxseed. I was wanting to know about the nutrition value of oil versus the actual ground flaxseed, which is better absorbed in the gut, or for both animals and people.
All right, so I don't like the oil. We were talking about rancidity. Flaxseed oil goes rancid much quicker than omega-3 fish oil, even the ethyl ester molecule. Most flaxseed oil, when you buy it off the shelf, is already starting to have some rancidity. It definitely has to be kept in the refrigerator, and you want to buy the smallest bottle possible, The problem with flaxseed oil, it's alpha linoleic acid, ALA, okay? And ALA does not convert in human beings unless you're a female of childbearing age. Then you can only convert about 5%, go through it 3 enzymatic conversions to convert ALA to EPA, all right? That's a form of omega-3 that's very good for us, and virtually no DHA at all. So plant-sourced omega-3 doesn't convert to DHA. However, there is an algae out there. So if you want to get your omega-3 from plant source, there's an algae oil that does have a little DHA and EPA. So that's a much better way of getting it. But that's why I tell vegetarians or vegans, people that are on 100% plant-based diets, to at least supplement with a good omega-3, a marine source omega-3, if they will. Because a marine source of omega-3, it has the EPA and DHA. You don't have to break it down. So I like ground flax is better, okay? Because ground flax does not go rancid, and it has some fiber, it has some antioxidants. Don't take it for the omega-3 aspects, because it's not going to happen. Now remember, you don't want to overdo flax or chia by the same token, or red wine or soy, because that's a phytoestrogen, okay? So men, it'll make your testosterone go down, and women, it could cause hormonal problems. So a little flax is fine, a little chia is fine, but don't do it daily, and don't do gobs and gobs of it.
So does flax have omega-6 and 3?
Yeah, flax does have some omega-6. It's a plant-based. So, but the ALA ratio to omega-6 is a little bit higher. I wouldn't be concerned about omega-6 in flax. I wouldn't be concerned at all. All those plant sources do have some omega-6. It's interesting because here's an example. Walnuts. People think walnuts are high in omega-3. Well, walnuts are much higher in omega-3 than almonds or cashews or peanuts, much higher, but their omega-6 is 10 times higher than anybody else's. So the ratio in a walnut, omega-3 is terrible. I mean, it's more omega-6. Many of these nuts, contrary to what people think, are pro-inflammatory, not anti-inflammatory, because the omega-6 ratio is so high. And then they have the anti-nutrients like lectins and phytic acid in them as well. If you eat nuts, the safest nut in the world is the macadamia nut.
Right. Okay. What about grinding walnuts then instead of a flaxseed ground up? Because I will buy organic flax seeds and I grind them to make like the meal or the powdery form. But if you're telling me either that algae-based solution, does that have omega-6? I'm trying to get omega-3s and 6.
Yeah, so algae, yes, there's some algae products you can get on Amazon or at the health food store. You could throw that in, and then you're going to get a much better plant-based source of omega-3. Absolutely. You don't eat fish?
I do eat fish. I eat tuna and orange roughy. I'm not a fan of salmon.
Okay. Your tuna and orange roughy are delicious.
It's the best fish for you.
Yeah, those are big predatory fish. So in moderation, believe it or not, the best fish for us to eat are either wild salmon, sardines, or anchovies. But let's face it, when we come home for dinner at night, we don't want to see a sardine sitting on our plate.
No. So can you email me, Dr. Lange, about that algae product that you recommend to look into that?
Absolutely. Will you shoot me an email? Do you have my email address?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, shoot me an email. Make sure it's the one at iCloud. So iDude92 at iCloud. Don't do AOL. I don't go to that. I get 10,000 emails a day on AOL, so I don't check it. But yeah, shoot me an email, and then I'll link you up with the source.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, take care, Brenda. Bye-bye.
All
right, you're listening to Ask the Doctors. Dr. Hall and myself, Dr. Lange, here to answer your questions. 1-877-969-8600. 1-877-969-8600. Remember, we're going to have another hour right after this, so you can keep watching us on social media, or you can turn into 9:10 a.m. or 5:80 a.m. or a lot of different stations, and certainly the Panhandle will get us loud and clear for the second hour. I want to talk about something. Doc Hall's looking awful young this morning, although he's not that old. He's got those biceps bulging through that. He's on that fortified fit. He's looking pretty good. So, but I want to talk about his eyelids, okay? As we mature, as we get older, and aging starts at birth, remember that, our eyelids start to get a little baggy. That's called dermatochalasis or ptosis. And once the eyelids get a little baggy, you have an option of A, doing nothing at all, or B, having blepharoplasty, eyelid surgery, or C, now you have another option, a safe alternative that is non-surgical. It's an eye drop. That's absolutely correct. An eye drop called Upneek. Upneek is an eye drop you put in your eye. It infuses under the lid into the muscles that are responsible for elevating the lids. It energizes these muscles, and folks, it works. One drop a day, eyelids go up as much as 35 to 40% without any lid surgery. And let's face it, we all want to look younger. We want to look a little bit better as we age. So think about Upneek. Ask your optometrist or ophthalmologist for a prescription. You can come to the Lange Eye Institute. We have those available. You can see us to see if you're a candidate, but ask your eye doctor about Upneek. It works, doesn't it, Dr. Hall?
Absolutely. This morning, as I'm getting ready and shaving my head and shaving my face, I put a drop in each eye, and there's no sensation to it at all. There's no numbing effect. There's no burning. There's nothing. I mean, it's very mild. There's nothing to it, and I went on with my business of shaving my head. And but you know what, folks? Honestly, it takes a lot for me to endorse anything. And both Dr. Lang and I, we receive endorsement requests really on a weekly basis. And so I really don't jump out there sometimes unless I really two things. First of all, product has to work, and I actually use it. And I do use Upneek. I mean, it does work. Simple as that. I can see within 5-10 minutes, I look back in the mirror and I can see, I think for me, about a 50% change in my eye. I know, we expect 20 to 30%, but it really, for me, I see a huge big difference, and it lasts. And so it takes a minute to do, and it works, and it lasts all day. I'm going to be in front of hundreds and hundreds of people today, and quite honestly, I want to look my best. And this helps you do that. If you have a little saggy eyelid or like that, this is going to help that. And so, talk to your doctor, and talk to Dr. Lang, talk to the Institute, the Lang Eye Institute, and they'll get you fixed up with that. I know I've used it now for, I guess, about maybe 6 months, and it's awesome. It really does work. So that's my own little personal endorsement for it.
Yep, and it's called Upneek. So ask your local eye doctor about Upneek. Come to the Lange Eye Institute, see if you're a candidate for it. We have samples we'll give you if you're a patient of ours. Then we do have it available. We do have a pharmacy license now at the Lange Eye Institute, so we can dispense that. You can actually buy it from us right at the Lange Eye Institute now. Also, since we're talking about eye drops, new generation eye drops, if you have dry eye and you've tried everything, first of all, I say you got to try a drop called Optase. Optase is a new generation lubricating eye drop, very inexpensive. You can get it at fortify.com, Fortifeye. It's play on words because I'm an eye doctor. Fortify.com, Optase. It's a good lubricant. It comes with 300 drops in one bottle, has some hyaluronic acid in it. It really works quite well. I still like Oasis Tears as well. Those are my two favorite. But let's say you have really dry eyes. You've tried everything. You've tried our advanced dry eye therapy kit. You've tried lid scrubs and hot compresses, every artificial tear. You've tried all the drugs on the market, and you still have dry, sandy, gritty, burny, teary, itchy eyes. There's a new drop on the market called Regenerize. Regenerize is a stem cell infused eye drop. I got a brochure someplace around here. I don't know where it is. But anyway, it has got a lot of interesting properties. It comes from amniotic fluid, amniotic membranes from humans, not from mice or monkeys. And you put a drop in your eye twice a day. It helps. You would be surprised at the amazing results of patients that have had severe dry eyes for years. And we put them on this product, and 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, their corneas look better than they've looked in years. So it does work. It's called Regenerize. Regenerize. All right, phone lines are open. 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. Like I told you earlier, we started a new website called theultimatemusclefuel.com. Check it out, theultimatemusclefuel.com. And we did that just to promote one product only, and it's called Fortify Fit. I'm holding it up on social media right now. This whole sponsorship of the Bodybuilding Association today at noon is based on Fortify Fit. We worked on this for many years. The flavor system we worked on for 6 months alone. It's a combination of 10 of the latest sports nutrients that have been shown and proven in clinical studies in the levels that we're using to build muscle, increase strength, increase endurance, lower inflammation, improve recovery. It's amazing. It does work. So not only for young athletes, but for older athletes as well. And you don't have to be an athlete. Our largest population that's using it right now is our seniors over 60, over 70. They're using it because they want to regain some of that muscle mass that they've lost. They want to regain that strength. They want to age gracefully, like all of us. We see so many of our seniors taking Fortify Fit now, don't we, Dr. Hall?
Absolutely. And, just real quick, this started out, Dr. Lange and I, as we were formulating this, as on the drawing board, was really we were making this for athletes and for the recovery of athletes. And as time went on, we saw that, some of our older folks were using this and they were getting results. And we have to keep building that muscle. And quite honestly, folks, I walked off the bodybuilding stage many, many years ago. And, that's a phase of my life. Okay, that's behind me. But I went on fit, started training a little bit harder, I guess, a little bit more adept. And guess what? I'm going to probably start training again, or not training, but competing again this next year in masters competition. As I was telling Dr. Lange on the way into the studio today, and not that I'm that old, but at my age, I shouldn't be building muscle the way I am. But it works, folks. It really does work. Very proud to be associated with it.
Doc looks pretty good for 84.
Absolutely.
Right? Looks pretty good for 84.
And 85 is coming up.
No, I'm just teasing you guys. He's not really anywhere near that age. But we're about out of time, Doc.
Hey, folks, listen, we're going to do a second hour. So if you didn't get in on the call, even if you can't hear us, you can still call in. We'll take your call and you can hear our response. So call back in, same number, and we'll see you next hour.
Right. Remember, check out everything at fortify.com, FORTIFEYE, fortify.com. I'm out of here. Have a great day. God bless you. God bless America.